And this stupid guy who broke your heart from the past is now saying, really, I made a mistake. Funke, it's you I should have married. But if it takes this time to have that extra nice smell, it knows that there is reward. You are saving a brother. Before you know it, both of you are falling. If your wife is telling you that you have a bad breath, you work on it. If they are telling you that when you open your armpit like this, it's always smelly. Hello and welcome on the E.B.U.N show. On this episode, we're discussing dealing with attraction for other men as a married woman. So sometimes back, I was talking to this guy who was planning to get married, and we spoke about so many things, from preparation to money, and then to the discipline of sticking with one person for the rest of your life. So I told him, you know, it takes a lot of effort, as you will see finer ladies, I mean beauty with brain and capacity, after your wedding, and sometimes immediately after the wedding. It didn't sound so strange to him. Matter of fact, I doubt if that should sound so deep to anybody. If that sounds strange to you, maybe you and I need to have a conversation. What was strange to him and even refused to settle with him was the fact that he too needs to do more to remain attractive to his wife, as his wife too will see men who are way finer, with money in the pocket, and are ready to spoil a lady. My brother lost it. It was like, you mean my wife will be attracted to another man? I was like, did you tie a feeling to a tree, or are feelings not free to roam? So it was then I noticed, or I understood, that it's like you men got the wrong memo, or hey, you didn't get the memo at all. I think the problem is our mothers gave maybe a wrong representation or a misrepresentation of the female gender. For reasons not known to me, maybe they feel that is what the male gender can handle. And so there's this perception of men are polygamists and women are monogamists. Yes, some we have arguments for and against, but that is not even the issue today. There's just this representation that the woman is generally docile and lacks the capacity to feel for other men aside the husband or the partner, in case they're not married yet. Maybe you didn't get an exactly correct memo. Maybe women are more turned on by sight than we like to admit ourselves, or you would like to accept of us. Sometimes you just meet this guy who is well shaved, has a very mature perfume, crisp and well laid outfit, and you go, damn, that guy fine, his shoes shine. Or a guy that just has the right thing to say, solution meets problem kind of guy, you know, who will just always solve the problems you have at your place of work. Or that guy who just gives you a bad vibe. You've been a good girl all your life and you're married to a good man, and time is ticking. You're approaching your 40s and you feel, what? YOLO, you only live once. Let me just even have a brief taste of the other side. And then that guy comes to mind. What abomination is she talking about? Someone is thinking in baritone. Or even you, a lady that you know I'm saying the truth, you are there saying, what worrish thinking is she having? Okay, maybe I did not come for your set of people, but people who are ready to be realistic, who want to have this conversation with me, please dust your chair and come close. How come we have so many DNA cases on our hands? People who have been married for years and then boom, 4 children, not for the father. Or you're married to somebody and the child or children is for Mr. Owner or the owner. Come close, let's have this discussion. Being married or being committed to someone in marriage does not stop you from being attracted to another man. Sometimes it's just mere admiration, something very fleeting. You pull up at the gas station or the filling station and this other guy comes down from a new model Mercedes Benz and there's just this aura. And then your heart skips for a bit. The guy drives off and that's the end of it. In some other cases, it presents in areas where your husband is lacking. You are in a low state in your family and then you get on social media one day and there it is. This handsome guy flashing his 32 is celebrating a major milestone in his life. Your ex. Your heart begins to pace. You fall into a trance, an epiphany of what could have been, because you never knew you could turn out that fine, and before you knew it, your heart, something pushed your hand to send high. Then the cry of your baby snaps you away from this trance and you're wondering what just happened. Why did you send a message? It was already late. A message drops on your phone. It's him. He remembers you. And he comments about how finer you have gotten. And he teases you, my runaway girlfriend. And bam. That's it. The genesis of the chemical imbalance in your system. I painted this scenario, but I acknowledge that there are over 1 million scenarios. I've been to salons and ladies discussing and talking about how they ended up not marrying who they truly loved and reminiscing over what life would have been with that person. Hey sis, don't even try to deny. Something close happened to me. An headline flashed and I saw this guy who had made it in dollars. Some guy from my past. It didn't work out between us. And I too got thinking, hey, what would he have been if I had gone ahead to marry this person? But see, here is the sense I received. What if this same person was roaming the street as a madman? Would you have kept that same line of thoughts? Or would you have gotten on your knees to say, thank God I did not marry him? So now you know that feeling is not love. You know what it is. We just most times covet something better than what we have. But the thing is, you never know what it is on the other side. For some, it's not just money. It's something deeper. It's something more significant. It's not even a guy from your past. It's just that maybe your man nags a lot. He doesn't pay attention. He doesn't listen to you when you really need him. And there's just this guy at work who notices when your mood changes, who has the right thing to say to you, who remembers, oh, you remember you told me something 2 years? Is that what it is? And then your heart just starts moving towards this guy because he always gives you the right vibes. So you find yourself rushing away early in the morning to get to work, and when it's the close of work, there's just this heaviness on your heart because you are going back home again to a guy who doesn't listen. In some cases, it's just even nothingness. Nothing really triggers it. It just happens. Let me confess. In my case, there was just this guy. Matter of fact, I can't even tell that there was anything significant. I had a feeling that the guy was nice and that was it. I painted all this scenario so that you know that you are not the only one in this sis. And I think the first step to helping ourselves is acknowledging that this is a possibility. Kudos to those who do not have these feelings at all, who have never gotten attracted or noticed other men. Well, you're a eunuch. It's good. But I think if we acknowledge that it is a possibility, we begin to put signposts in places, in areas of our weaknesses, and we begin to raise our guards up that, I must not follow. The next one is communication with your partner. In my case, what I didn't even let the feeling move from the first stage to the second. I told my husband that. So I mentioned the guy. I not only said, okay, I'm having these feelings. I mentioned the guy and I told him everything that could be the substance of this feeling. And then this guy I was trying to invite to church at some point. But when I saw that, I started thinking funny. I'm not Jesus Christ. Because, and that was what I said about acknowledgement. I acknowledge that I might not be the one who will lead this person to salvation. Else, because even the Bible says, let him who stands take heed lest he falls. As you're trying to drag somebody, you're saving a brother. Before you know it, both of you are falling. Another thing is, severe any communication you have with this other person. You know, I already said first, acknowledge, according to my own knowledge. I might not be an expert, but these are things that have helped me. Acknowledging the fact that it is a possibility. Secondly, open up to your man. And then try to severe communication with this person. You cannot continue to lunchtime, it's you and this guy, you have any problem, you have to replace these people, else the feeling will fester. What's that English? The feeling will grow. And then I know that there are some other cases where you were pressured into a particular marriage, or maybe because your parents insisted that you cannot marry this person you love. The truth is, E.B.U.N. You make things work. Okay, let me give an example. You know, there are some of us, when we met our husbands, our first impression was that I would never marry this person, or why is this person like this? But if you commit your heart to making this thing work, it's about conditioning. You begin to see the good things in your husband, the good things in your marriage, and then you can save yourself. While I was preparing for this episode, my husband asked that, okay, what about those who have gone neck deep in it? Or how did you ask that question, babe?
Those who have fallen already.
Those who have, like, you have done the deed with the other man. Ha! You have done the do. First, maybe you should go and see your pastor or your imam or your parents. I don't know. But I think you first need to make a decision to stop it, because most times there's this kind of mind we have that, okay, since I've done it, let me just continue. It leads nowhere. Like, it leads nowhere. If you have done it, first make up your mind that I really want to stop this. I do not want to continue like this. Well, I'm a Christian, and by now you should know that I cannot separate my faith from who I am. It is going to God, asking for forgiveness, and genuinely repenting of the sin you have committed, because it is a sin. Now, as to how to now confess to your husband, I think you should involve someone that your husband respects, because honestly, I don't know.
But
so
you know that your partner cannot handle such revelation.
Okay, so from my own small brain, if your husband, if you know your, yes, we're talking about husbands in this case, if you know your husband can never handle it, I think you should find another accountability partner who is not an opposite sex. Maybe your mom. I'm hoping that your mom is a very responsible woman who will not encourage you to continue in that line. Or, you know, I said your pastor or your pastor's wife and your friend. I mean, respectable people whom you really trust, who can guide you through the process. Because really, it matters to the kind of person you're married to. If you cannot handle it, just find that you confess to someone who would make sure that you do not get to repeat that mistake again. Yeah? So, that is it. Now, men, you know that we women also have this ability to notice other men, notice that they are fine, and sometimes attraction begins to brood. If you have this knowledge, you'll be able to do more. If your wife is telling you that you have a bad breath, you work on it. If they're telling you that when you open your armpit like this, you're always smelly, or do not repeat boxers. Because you see, we leave women to buy all the fine lingeries, to keep their underwears neat, and men do little or nothing to make themselves look appealing to their women. Women can see. Women are not blind. They can compare in their minds. When they get home to find a dirty husband who has littered everywhere, or is so bushy, or doesn't, I don't understand. Like, even my husband knows that on the days it smells well. Of course, my husband smells well. But if it takes his time to have that extra nice smell, he knows that there is reward. Like, reward is always waiting. Is it pheromone? Be something that they say it's like, there's just something about nice smells. I try to joke about it, but I'm serious. When your wife tells you, try to work on yourself. Do not leave it to women to always look attractive to men. And for women, see, especially the set of men you should never answer in your... I'm not saying it is right to even pay attention to any other man aside to your husband, and that is why your husband should be your friend. But I'm saying that the worst set of men that you should even regard are those who dumped you, who after several years are not coming back. Your husband has invested in you, you guys have grown together, and this stupid guy who broke your heart from the past is now saying, really, I made a mistake, Funke. It's you I should have married. It's you I should have married. But you're married already, so please. So most of them, they've gone ahead, they left you behind, and so maybe they have issues in their marriage, or some don't even have issues. They are just being promiscuous, and they come and they begin to get into your head, and you too are giving them chance. When you didn't look like it, where were they? And so you begin to pay attention, and you begin to risk your marriage for them. Babe, wake up. I know, I feel the same way. It is valid that we notice fine guys out there, but who you have is who you have. Do you understand? And that fine guy to go see grow pot belly is the food you are feeding them. I just hope I've been able to make sense on this episode. Thank you so much for staying the course of this episode with us. If you have not subscribed, why now? Subscribe, please, like, and feel free to share. And I did something amazing. Well, I think it is amazing. This hair that I have that I call Top Knot Bun, or we Yorubas call Oniduro, I made a DIY video on it. So watch this space. I'm going to be dropping it in the course of the week. Bye. God bless you. Mwah.